Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions. It is time for the third round of the Podium 1 GT3 Fixed Series season here at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, the newest road track to be added to the iRacing service. Already seen some racing here and it produces fantastic action. I'm expecting all of that and more from tonight's event with 40 minutes of GT3 racing on the cards here after, of course, this qualifying session is complete. Bringing it to you live on YouTube and Twitch here on Pit Road Productions. It's me, Reese Gardner, and Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box, also producing behind the scenes. Zippy, I understand you're not very familiar with this venue. I think you're in for a treat. It's a tricky one.
Yeah, not in the slightest, Reese. I literally downloaded it before we went live, but then as soon as we go in, checking out scenic cameras, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've seen this. It's the Formula One track, ladies and gentlemen. I've definitely seen this before, albeit not on Pit Road Productions. Don't get me wrong. Sergio Perez, well, I'll say he's Formula One drivers. He's out of it at this point, but you get the idea. Formula One drivers have not yet graced the presence here on Pit Road Productions. We're working on it, ladies and gentlemen. If you happen to have a hookup, by all means, hook us up, because yeah, we ain't packing that kind of punch. But ladies and gentlemen, we have something even better. We have the community here from the Podium 1 GT3 Fixed Series.
We absolutely do. Fantastic roster of drivers, plenty of skill in this field. It's a big field as well. Last week at Laguna Seca, things were a little bit hectic because the track was so compact. It's frankly nice to see them go to a track that has a couple of nice long straights. This particular circuit hosts the Formula One Mexican Grand Prix at various points from the 1960s right up until 1992. Then it was absent for a while. Just a few years ago, it was massively reconfigured and rebuilt and brought back to Formula One for the Mexico City Grand Prix, and so its profile has continued to increase. Speaking of circuit, Zippy, I think we should take a look at the schedule for this championship. We started off a couple of weeks ago at Road America, then went to Laguna Seca last week. We're here at round 3 today. Next week, we go over to America, to Sonoma and Road Atlanta, opposite sides of the United States, but two fantastic, challenging drivers' circuits. Daytona is round 6, and then we have Virginia International Raceway for round 7, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Indianapolis, and Sebring to end off this 10-round season at the start of December. So quite America's heavy, this particular schedule. But I'm certainly not complaining. We got a great roster of tracks.
Absolutely. Certainly Road Atlanta is probably going to be the one that I would most likely be out there on track. But I can tell you that we have a new guest here in the chat. We've got Kelly. Oh my gosh, Kelly Flanagan, who has become invited to the courtesy of the number 8 driver of Amrit Pastrana. Thank you, Amrit, there for sharing us around. We've also got Jake Enzer in the track. For lack of better words, he's flaunting the fact he's just had a delicious Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. Certainly over here in the Maple Leaf state of Canada, ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed celebrating Thanksgiving this weekend. But Reese, before we start talking and getting into all the turkey finest, we should either do sponsors or championship points. Your choice on whichever one you want to do first.
I think we'll have time to thank our fantastic sponsors in the warm-up. So standings first. It's been a bit of a varied one in the first couple of rounds, but Hunter McCall has had the most consistency here. Got on the podium last week at Laguna Seca and has 150 points in the lead of the Gold Championship. But despite qualifying on pole for Laguna Seca, he slipped back through the field and did not get the result he needed. He sits 6 points behind. Joshua Wilford, meanwhile, is certainly coming up. Took the win at Laguna Seca. 3rd place in the championship, but only 2 points ahead of Chris Crone. The top 4 starting to break away a little bit from the rest of them. Dalton Oxborough putting himself in 5th. In the silver class, Reed Lincoln is leading the way on 103 points. We have Pierce Fox and Charles Ayers rounding out your top 3 there, with Matt Jones and Jamil Gummer finding their way into the top 5, and things are looking a bit closer for that top 5. Sousa only 1 point back, with Kevin Rosario only 2 points back from that. So there's still plenty of shifting around in the Silver Championship from there. And in bronze, we have Jack Minter being a bit of a runaway leader at the moment coming into round 3. 71 points on the cards for him, with Tommy Polte getting on the bronze class. Podium in round 1, sitting there 59 points, 9 points ahead of our series administrator CJ Conklin. Philip Crane, Andrew Martin round out the top 5 in bronze. And it's going to be very interesting to see the scrap for points in silver and bronze, because the classes get points based on overall finishing position. There's no separate points for the classes here. So if you're a bronze driver, the more silver or pro cars you get in between yourself and your rival, the more of a points advantage you'll get, and the same goes if you're in silver and you have gold or bronze cars finishing in between yourself and your nearest rival. Last few seconds of qualifying on screen at the moment. Kerry Corcoran certainly had some adventures at Laguna Seca last week, and it seems he's had some as well on the way into the Foro Sol, the last few corners of the track here that go through a former baseball stadium, one of many tricky slow parts of this track.
Yeah, just highlighting a couple of the people we got here with some driver cams, ladies and gentlemen, albeit they're a little bit quicker than me, ladies and gentlemen, as I did have Tommy Poulter just for a second. I did have him, and then he lost him again. So, Tommy, it looks like you were there for a while leading up to the show, and then sadly you have... There we go, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. He is indeed back. I can see, for lack of better words, a pretty radical set of sideburns on the guy, so fair play to you there. But we do indeed have a beautiful collection of drivers. And actually, we got another driver in here. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know, Brian Zinn, we've seen him elsewhere. Good to see he's made it over to Podium 1.
Yeah, certainly. Good to see him here too, and driving the Aston as well. That gets the big thumbs up from me. Fantastic stuff to see him here as well. It's been another great turnout for this round of the championship. We got 45 drivers in the server at the moment. So, yeah. As I said just before, I think they'll be very happy that they don't have much in the way of compact racetrack to negotiate here. But these are all the drivers that we have on our live feed today. CJ Conklin and Jason Hatcher, with Cairo Enns, Andrew Garov, and Kerry Corcoran. Ben Millick as well. He managed to get a great result last week at Laguna Seca. We'll see how he holds up this particular week. But with that, it looks like qualifying is well and truly done. And yeah, that's the session kicking over. Crone was still out on the track and trying to get his laps in, but the session kicked him back to the pits. So we are away then for the warm-up session, and that means it is time to give thanks to the fantastic sponsors that make things happen for this championship. We got to start with the first at the top of the list at VPG Sim. They don't just build equipment. They translate years of motorsport experience from BF1 systems directly into your hands. Their products are engineered using knowledge driven by professional drivers, the ones who push the limit. It's about that weight, that feedback, that raw, uncompromising connection to the machine. It's from track to sim. VPG are bringing the authentic race feel home. Crafted in Wisconsin, Carbless offers a line of premium canned cocktails designed for drinkers who refuse to compromise on flavor or fitness goals. These ready-to-drink options featuring vodka, rum, and tequila bases for classic drinks like margaritas and mojitos are built on a simple promise: bold flavor with zero compromises. Every 12-ounce can is zero sugar, zero carbs, gluten-free, and just 100 calories. Ferme Serpollet, owned by league racer Simon Cartier and his brothers Martin and Serge, made a strategic shift to exclusively breeding purebred Holstein cattle. This decision was aimed at improving the genetics of their then 60-head Serpollet herd. The strategy has proven highly successful and continues to yield excellent results for their young herd today. And of course, Podium 1 Racing is a Nashville, Tennessee-based builder of turnkey racing and flight simulator systems. They offer premium, ready-to-use rigs that integrate high-end components such as Fanatec, Azatek, and Cubic motion systems to meet the needs of serious racers and professional training environments. A huge thanks to everyone who has jumped on board to support the Podium 1 Fixed GT3 Championship. Certainly getting your money's worth with the action we've been getting over the last couple of weeks. But Zippy, I understand we've got a guest in the commentary box with us.
Well, I just thought it'd be a little bit of fun to see Charles went and stuck himself over into the NTT interview channel. I'll pick a job. Tell you what, Charles, why not give us a pre-race interview? What's it like in the Silver Championship right now?
Well, I think everything's really tough. It's a lot of close racing. You know, you gotta have the right mindset with these kind of cars and with all these guys around you. You know, you're gonna be racing with them for, I think it's 10 weeks total. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I had the worst mentality in the first race. Just absolutely turned myself into a little bulldozer. But I've tried to clean it up. I feel like I have cleaned it up. So yeah, just really happy to just be in the top 3. I think it is for qualifying results. That's honestly kind of shocking. I know we have a bunch of really great cars in gold, but the challenge so far in silver is just there's so many of us. I feel like that it's really, you know, you might beat 1 or 2 that are ahead of you in points, but then you look and the guy behind you in points finishes like 8, 9 positions up. All of a sudden, you know, it's a complete change of the point situation. So it's a lot of everything happening all at once. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's fair there, Charles, but we are indeed going to wish you the best of luck. Certainly, we'll keep an eye out for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Ayers, one of the silver class drivers in today's race.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Charles Ayers has absolutely nailed that qualifying, by the way. He has put himself amongst the golds and is 3rd place on tonight's grid. We will go through the grid when the session ticks over. But for now, a little bit more reflection, I think, Zippy, on the nature of this circuit. One thing that you're going to notice here is the speeds down the straights, and it's a very subtle thing to think about, as actually we're going to change tack and welcome Jason Hatcher into the commentary box. Jason, welcome. Looks like you are smack dab in the middle of this field for the start, as there's a numerous amount of cars in this field tonight. It's going to be all about surviving that run to turn 1.
Indeed it is. Hopefully we can hold in there this time and stick it out the whole race.
How are you gelling with this track? It's got a very interesting flow to it. You got to be aggressive over those curbs, but unsure exactly how your car's stability is going to cope.
I am fairly new to this, so I'm getting used to it still. So fingers crossed we could have a good run tonight.
Well, starting from 29th on the grid, we wish you all the best of luck, Jason. Thanks very much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again by the end.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right, Zippy, it is time for the grid. We are in the 40-minute race session, and Joshua Wilford, 3rd in the championship, is on the front row with Dalton Oxborough. Charles Ayers, absolute star there in qualifying, starts 3rd alongside Artis Veldra, champion of last season. Hunter McCall, the current championship leader, starts 5th place alongside Cairo Enns, who qualified well last week at Laguna Seca but slipped back in the race. David Freeston also slipped back at Laguna Seca. This time he starts P7 on the grid alongside Chris Crone. Pierce Fox, 2nd place in silver, starts alongside Jacob Freeman to round out our top 10.
Yeah, I will say, fair play to Charles sneaking up there. He kept that quiet, didn't he? I may have just got a little excitable by that. As you can see there, P11, we got Cody Haggard alongside Ben Mellick again, another driver with a camera, ladies and gentlemen. As we head back to 13th, we got Jamil Gummer alongside Matt Hollinger for 14th. Brian Zinn takes 15th with Miguel Colon. Further back than usual, he's there in 16th with Brent Sousa in 17th. Amrit Vestrala and special guest there in 18th with Doug Sorrentino. Surprisingly, I said 19th for a second there, but it looks like Jack Mintus got 19th, and then Doug Sorrentino in 20th. Yep, that's why, because the grid is indeed moving. Grace, take over, sir.
All right, well, Drew Martin's going to start 21st place alongside Darwin Hanson. We've got John Hamrick and Kevin Rosario starting 23rd and 24th, with Brissetti and Pacheco on the 13th row. Reed Lincoln and CJ Conklin, 27th and 28th. Our top 30 rounded out by Jason Hatcher and Matt Jones. Then we have Garov, Gramling, Warren, Crane, Poulter, and Corcoran rounding out your top 36. 10 more cars remain, but I don't think we'll have time to go through them, Zippy, because we are going to the green flag right now. Short formation lap at a huge field here at Mexico City. Joshua Wilford is going to lead us away for the start here. 2,250 meters above sea level, this circuit. The air is thin, so the turbo cars are going to be something to be reckoned with here. The BMWs behind Joshua Wilford, chasing him on the run down to turn 1. Looks like a pretty clean and orderly start for the most part from everybody there as they get on the anchors for turn 1, and we have a tight chicane to start off the lap here. Dalton Oxborough going for it and keeping himself there in second place over Charles Ayres. Things getting a little dramatic there as they all try to squeeze their way through the first couple of turns, but Wilford, it looks like, might be home free.
Yeah,
hello.
There was definitely a little bit of juicy action going on further back. I did see an ejecto cars from what looked like to be a rear bumper. As right now, Charles Ayres, he does not care that he is indeed in the silver class. It is indeed a battle. And I've got to say that BMW behind, almost like a Union Jack paint job. Come on, England, ladies and gentlemen. Albeit it is an American driver. Forgive me for that. But it looks like Charles Ayres currently leading P2, or currently leading silver, sorry. And not only that, he is 7 positions ahead of nearest rival, Pierce Fox, for silver.
This is fantastic stuff from Charles Ayres. He has it all to play for here today. His one-lap pace has certainly been good, but once they start getting into the meat of this race, it'll be interesting to see if he holds on versus Oxborough and company here. Artis Veldra also in the BMW as they enter the Foro Sol. He's looking for a way through, but just can't find it. It's so tight. It's so tough through this section of the circuit. You got to ride those curbs and maintain your mid-corner speed. Mechanical grip is everything through that section, and Artis gets on the power, holds it flat out through the last part of Peraltada to complete lap 1, and he will have the mother of all slipstreams here.
I gotta admit, that is, this track's already growing on me, but what I am noticing, Reese, is it's a very heavy BMW presence. P2 down to, all the way down to P4. All BMWs, ladies and gentlemen, and what I can say is Cairo Enns has managed to put himself at the back of this pack in that Aston Martin. Jake will be very happy about that. Now, me and Cairo, we did have a little bit of a chat, and basically the big tactic for him is definitely let the tyres get up to temperature, dial it back just a little bit more, and you will indeed have a better race. But we're going to head back to see the battle that's going on between Jack Minter and Brian in, as right now Jack Minter is currently leading the bronze class, and he's got about a 5-car lead. As I say that, something's happened with Drew Martin. Drew Martin is indeed taking the scenic route, ladies and gentlemen, and he's off the track.
Oh no, Martin was making his way up through the field, but it seems he got a little bit of contact from behind from Chris Brissetti, unfortunately. Brissetti going for it at turn 2 there as Martin ran wide and up the inside of turn 3. A little bit of a tap and around he went. That's going to happen a few times, I'm sure, tonight. So we'll have to wait and see if they avoid that in future. Miguel Colon, meanwhile, down in 41st place, and Miguel was in contention for the podium at Road America. So we will need to see what more he can do from here. In fact, Cologne was only a couple of positions ahead of Brissetti at the time of that contact. So something has happened to Miguel as well.
Yeah, I was just trying to find out what exactly happened, and I didn't come up any luck here. As the very patriotic car, the number 43 of Kerry Corcoran, currently looking at getting a bit of a battle. He's already up 5 positions, currently P15 in silver, but he's got Jacob Freeman ahead of him. Now, Freeman definitely caught up in something earlier on as well, down 20 positions from the start in that beautiful Aston Martin.
Yeah, well, let's see if Jacob Freeman can keep things going here, because he's one of many drivers who's evidently had issues in these early stages of the race. He has the slipstream off the Porsche in front of him of Tommy Polte, so we should be able to go for a move at turn 1. He does poke the nose out and dive up the inside. It's a great place to pass. But you've got to try and maintain that momentum through turns 2 and 3. You can use a lot more of the curbs than you think through that section of the circuit. You will notice as well on the exits of some corners, the curb has a blue line behind the white line, and that's something that Formula One started doing in the last couple of years to assist their policing of track limits. Basically, if Formula One's racing here, then you have, you know, a track limits violation if they can see that you're over the blue line and not the white line. But evidently, that doesn't mean much here in iRacing. You seemingly can run all the way across the curbs. You'll see right here. See that blue line behind the white line? That is what you need to look out for there. It's a nice bit of assistance for determining where the heck to put your car, especially in this twisting S's section, Zippy. It's super tricky, and Dustin Warren has gotten together with Jacob Freeman there. It's hard to make passes in that section of the circuit, but Freeman is still on the attack.
Yeah, he's definitely applying a good bit of pressure. We're doing Australia proud here. On your behalf, Racing. You can see here the different lines there, and you're going to see Freeman. He's got more exit speed, but there's just absolutely nowhere he can go. He's trying. Don't get me wrong, I've got to say a huge shout out to the fans here today as well. Out in absolute thousands here, ladies and gentlemen, at the Mexican Grand Prix circuit.
Good exit from the final corner for Jacob Freeman. Trying to find his way into 29th place, or 28th, sorry. As now he finally gets alongside, and power of the slipstream is evident there. Awesome stuff, and he'll jump up the inside into turn 1. Freeman is certainly in the thick of things at the moment. He's catching up now to Crane for the moment. Artis Veldra, meanwhile, in 3rd place. He has worked his way up, and he is piling the pressure.
Wiggle.
Actually, okay. Cairo ends having a problem there. Hunter McCall sitting in 6th place. This is turning into a great battle for the runner-up spot. Joshua Wilford has skipped away from everyone. He leads by over 7.5 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say, fair play to Charles Ayers. He was indeed holding on to that for quite a while. Artis Veldra managed to make his way by, and then Dalton Oxborough basically said, I'll take some of that action as well. But don't get me wrong, all these BMWs, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now, I do have to wonder if the BMWs may be a little bit more dominant here. Certainly we have a few of them throughout the field. Not usually one of the more popular cars in more recent years, but I got to say, quite neutral, I'd find. One thing we don't have in the entire field race, there's no Corvettes.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. The Corvette Z06 does not seem to be a popular option, if even an option at all, for a lot of these drivers. So hopefully we get a couple that turn up halfway through the season and bring that American thunder. Doug Sorrentino starting in 19th place. He has also been in and around quite a bit of the issues going on here. He had actually worked his way up to 16th place, and will find his way around the outside of Amrit Vestrala, who evidently has come a cropper somewhere. A Mercedes is not supposed to look like that.
Yeah, it took me a second there, Reese. Like, that thing is damaged, or has it just got a really sweet wrap on it? But it is indeed damaged. That's Amrit Vestrala. I guess we'll have to check in with his guest there. Maybe she knows what's going on with his race. Kelly Flanagan.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, well...
Oh
dear. Whoa, that's Michael Pacheco and the McLaren that's gone around, I think, at turn 4, it looks like. Turns 4 and 5, some of the most difficult corners on this circuit for my money. They are way tighter than you think, and you are incredibly tempted to get on the power, but it wasn't a spin by himself. It was a tap from the Mustang behind for Michael Pacheco. Heavy braking zones around this track, and it makes sense that there would be a few incidents like that, but you want to still try and avoid that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a new track as well to a lot of these drivers, so it definitely takes a little bit of getting used to. But right now, Quinn Manders is getting into a battle. It's good to see him back there. Up 5 positions so far. Currently resting in P32 overall, or 16 in silver, ladies and gentlemen. And having a good battle there with Kerry Corcoran. Just goes to show that there is indeed battles no matter where you look in this field. It's Miguel Colon looking to get a little bit of a battle here with the bearded gentleman of Robert Bison Jr.
Yes, indeed. Working out nicely for the moment between these two. Defensive for Robert, but it's very easy to run deep in that hairpin. Cologne, though, can't take advantage on the exit, and Darwin Hansen will see a chance to get involved in this fight as well, just outside the top 30. Now it's time for the slipstream again. Big speed from the Mercedes. And, well, the flash of the headlights tells the full story there. Miguel Colon is looking to move forward here. He'll tip out of the slipstream and jump onto the brakes here at turn 1. Anti-lock brakes are great, aren't they? All GT3 cars have them, and they take full advantage there.
I got to admit, I think on that one, Robert Bryson Jr., he let them have it. He had no reason to... I mean, in some ways, he had no reason to fight them, but in other ways, he's like, you know, he had no reason to let them by either. But you know what? Fair play to him. I think it's going to be nothing but beneficial for him. They are not in bronze class, so he's better off letting them go and maybe try and catch the slipstream behind him. Both Miguel and Darwin both taking some heavy losses at the start of this race, back 16 and 11 positions respectively as well.
Yeah, some really bad races for a few guys on their way through here. But we shall see if they can gain anything back in the pit cycle. That's a BMW with its rear wing missing. That is Scott No, it's not Scott Laurenti. It is...
Drew Martin.
Drew Martin, yeah. Yes, of course, because Martin spun or was tapped around earlier on at turn 3, I believe, and accidentally made contact with the wall. So that's not ideal for him. No rear wing on his BMW. It'll help him out down the straights, but I don't think it'll help him out anywhere else.
Yeah, to be fair to him, I don't think he's really letting it slow him down there. He's just had to back right out of that from number 20 car, Scott Laurentini. And oh dear, there's what happens when you got no rear wing. I guess I spoke too soon and almost pandemonium there. I gotta say, great job there by Simon Carr and Richard Petit for being able to dodge that. Actually, that was Callan Christian, my apologies. Callan Christian able to dodge that as well. Those bronze drivers doing a fantastic job. Are we going to see Drew Martin, though, take to the pits? He has not, ladies and gentlemen. He is still going and fighting the number 60 car.
He doesn't need slipstream at all. There's just enough of a straight line speed advantage from no rear wing that he can just slip on by before they even get to the braking zone. But he will definitely have to repair that at the pit stop. We'll move up to Kerry Corcoran, who has pretty close company at the moment. And he'll be fighting quite hard with the car of Darwin Hansen there. Hansen dropping back, actually, from the battle ahead of Miguel Colon and what is now Quinn Manders. Colon has found his way a bit further back, and let's see what Quinn Manders can do to hold him off. There's a bit of damage that Manders is carrying on the left front of his Porsche, which can't be helping his stability.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to drive with a damaged car, but I don't know why Miguel's flashing. Honestly, it's a distraction technique, yes, but... the guy's 4,200 I rating against the guy who's 1446. He should be able to pass on merit, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my opinion. But let's head up a little bit further and see what's going on with Jack Minter, who's currently leading the bronze class.
Yes, indeed. Jack Minter working out very nicely here in P16. He also had a great run at Laguna Seca. So there's plenty of extra pace for him. And he's not too far behind Brent Souza either, so another overall position beckons for him. He's so far ahead of the other bronze class drivers, they don't even show up on the timing tower if we show the top 20. Meanwhile, battle for third. Charles Ayres, he was a star in the early stages of the race, but has dropped off a little bit as the race has worn on. Still leads the silver class, but is on the outside looking in at a podium position here as Dalton Oxborough had a poor run out of the S's. So hard to get right, that section of racetrack. And it basically defines your entire lap. Let's see what Ayres can do here. He finds room to the inside there. That was a bit of a dive, and Oxborough runs wide to give him room. Good racing between these two, but Oxborough runs deep in the final corner, hooks it up nicely though. I think a pass is more than certain for Charles Ayres here, picking up the slipstream, but they've got to be careful not to lose too much time to Hunter McCall behind.
Yeah, definitely Hunter McCall. He's definitely a little bit of a slow burner there, and by that, it's definitely nothing derogatory by any means. He's got the long game in mind, ladies and gentlemen, and he has proven that so far this season. As you see there, Charles Ayres, he's looking for that glory. He wants that podium. Don't get me wrong. Fair play to him, as the door is indeed going to be closed. No, he does leave space. The left, the right, the left. It sounds like I'm trying to teach somebody the cucaracha, ladies and gentlemen, or indeed the cha-cha-cha. Best dance song. It comes with instructions. biased opinion, but right now Charles Ayers has indeed managed to get hold of that position, but for how long? Because look who's come back now. Hunter McCall trying to make a move on the outside with that Ferrari. Cairo Ends looking to get in on the mix as well.
Yeah, this is looking good here for Cairo Ends. He stands a chance of gaining a few positions, and all the BMWs are side by side ahead. That's Ayers going wide for Dalton Oxborough, but he has the inside for the S's here. It is one line fits all through this section of the circuit. If you try to go side by side, you will lose bulk time. This early stage of the race before the pit stop is one of the worst places to be stuck behind someone. Oxborough runs wide, and now he brings Hunter McCall right into it. Not to mention Cairo Ends, who gets into the wall.
Yeeted. That didn't look good.
It did not. It was Chris Crone, I believe, who unfortunately got into the back of him ever so slightly, just ever so light contact right when the car was loaded up. There wasn't much Ends could do to recover that. That's just straight up bad luck.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it was intentional, but man, I definitely feel for the guy. He has not had the best of races as of late.
No, certainly hasn't. Well, we shall hopefully see our race clean up a bit for those drivers. Chris Crone jumps into the pits, no surprise to see there, and Cairo Ends, of course, is back in the pits too. Meanwhile, the battle continues, now with a few less cars involved. Dalton Oxborough down to P5 now as McCall found his way past him.
Yeah, like I said, Hunter McCall, he's definitely got the long game in mind, but Charles Ayers, he's lost a lot of time to Artis Veldra ahead, but don't get me wrong, Veldra and Wilford are not really his problem. It's great to be on the podium there, but right now he's got two gold drivers behind him. Pierce Fox is about, I'd say, 2 seconds back. I'd be more wary of that. If we have a look here, though, there's Pierce Fox, ladies and gentlemen. He's in that next BMW. That is his next threat, and Pierce Fox as well, currently up 3 positions. Charles Ayers having a hell of a day. Started in 3rd, and he's still managed to stay there. As I say that, Joshua Wilford with the yellow flag right now.
Yeah, Joshua Wilford, I'm not too sure why a yellow flag is showing up for him, because it doesn't seem like there's much going on there. Maybe it's a case of the speed that he's going through the 4.0 Sol. It's a very slow and tricky part of this circuit. Hunter McCall still trying to work his way past Charles Ayers here. And Ayers is having a great race at the moment, but it looks like the drama further back has brought his fellow silver class competitors ever closer to him. Fox, Milik, and Haygood, 6th, 7th, and 8th right now. They are not far behind this one.
Yeah, certainly Malek, if he can get a little bit closer. Currently, he's about 2.4 seconds back, but he's got Cody Haygood, who's coming along there with him. But right now, Dalton Oxborough has joined the party, ladies and gentlemen. He's got Pierce Fox right behind him. Now, Pierce will indeed be motivated. You can see Charles ahead, albeit he's 3 cars. And look right now, though, he's going to try and make a move on the inside of that other BMW.
Then let's see what can be done. In the midst of all of this, Pierce Fox has to give way into this very tight chicane. The 820 of Oxborough is starting to struggle a bit for consistency, which is a very easy thing to do here in Mexico City. It looks like a simple enough circuit from the air, but you get down to it, and the apex speeds for these S's are really hard to determine. Reed Lincoln, meanwhile, next driver to seemingly have a problem in the middle of the 4.0 Sol, gets on the power, but the curbs unsettle him, and he taps the wall through a very narrow piece of this racetrack. Again, quite easy to do. The curbs are pretty brutal in that final section.
Absolutely, as there is indeed more action happening further back in the field. It's Amrit Estrella, Philip Crane, and indeed Miguel Colon a little bit ahead. Actually, CJ Conklin, he's in that battle as well, albeit I don't remember him being in a Ferrari race. Is that me, or had we got a car change here?
I get the feeling it might be a car change.
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure CJ Conklin was driving a different car than that, but regardless, he is making that Ferrari work. Oh, okay. Some big speed here from the cars behind. Miguel Colon has it all to play for here as Amrit Vestrala gets involved as well, and Vestrala has his bumper back. CJ Conklin decides, no thank you, I do not want to be involved in this, as the battle of the Mercs continues into the Foro Sol.
Well, not only that, he's got Philip Crane right behind him, who's definitely applying pressure. Then Tommy Polte is applying pressure as well. We actually have a freeway fight for second going on here in the bronze class. Apparently, as I say there, where's he gone now? I've lost him. Where's Jack Minter?
Where is Jack Minter?
He's further back in P5 in class. What happened there?
Okay,
there's pit. Oh dear.
Oh dear, yeah, that's not ideal for Jack Minter. Off pace and not looking good for the moment. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as CJ Conklin continues to try to negotiate this really tough mid-pack here. He gets the exit out of turn 3 and puts Philip Crane and Tommy Polte back behind him. Here's what happened to Jack Minter, meanwhile. Was it contact from behind? It was. Contact alongside even. Oh, that sucks for Jack Minter.
Yeah, that was definitely unfortunate there, but fair play to him. He is indeed still running. But CJ Conklin now, he's leading the charge here for this bronze class. He's got himself, Philip Crane, and Tommy Polte right behind him. It's going to be a freeway fight for the, well, all three of them on the podium in bronze, but it's definitely good news for him. Jack Minter has been dominating so far, and right now, this is going to be a prime opportunity for these three drivers to cash in.
Yeah, prime opportunity indeed. Conklin, meanwhile, solid in 23rd place as Cologne and his compatriot Vestrala trying their best to negotiate everything ahead of them. They just found their way past the Mustang of Owens, so there's a bit more potential for interesting action there as we'll see him catch up at the spin for Crane out of the final corner. Looks like he's lost his rear wing, and there's some trouble there for car 703. Philip Crane immediately going for the pit lane. We have had a couple of drivers come in for their pit stop already, but it seems most of them are trying to get to past the halfway point of the race to find their way to the pits here. So Amrit Vestrala, we're going to keep an eye on him and see...
there we go.
Philip Crane here, who was just behind him. Unfortunately, just catch the curb on the entry to the final corner there. That already unsettled him. Good incident avoidance from the car behind. But yeah, Philip Crane will be none too happy with how his race is going.
I gotta admit, he did a really good job holding that. You could have said, you know, it was almost intentional with a little bit of a power slide there, but not quite able to keep hold of it, as we do indeed have battles happening throughout. Let's go again with this gentleman here, Scott Laurentini. He's currently in P5 in bronze, and he's applying Kerry Corcoran a little bit of pressure there. BMW versus the Porsche.
Yes, indeed, but I've just noticed something's gone on for Joshua Wilford. I think he might have had a connection issue or something, because he's behind Artis Veldra now for the lead of the race.
Oh dear. I'll see if we can find anything on my end, Reese, there, but definitely a little bit of a turnaround there, as he was quite a good couple of seconds clear.
It didn't come into the pits either, so Wilford evidently having some kind of issue there that put him out of sync with everybody else. So this is turning into a really interesting race. We're genuinely unsure who's going to come away with victory here. Oh, that's what happened to Wilford. That was at turn 5 that he had an issue. I'm not sure exactly what caused it, but it's a very easy complex to mess up, and believe me, I know from experience.
Definitely, I am yet to grace Mexico with my lack of driving talent, ladies and gentlemen, as we return to live pictures, and Wilford off the track yet again.
Yikes.
He seems to have maybe got a little bit too much heat in them tyres. Charles Ayer about 3.6 seconds back. Are we going to see a mix-up now as Wilford dropped his game? But right now, let's have a look further back here as Jack Minter, Michael Pacheco, and indeed Robert Bison Jr., a freeway fight back in P25 overall.
Yeah, this is an interesting one indeed. It is Mustang versus McLaren versus Porsche, and Minter gets the best exit of all. Not able to take advantage, though. It looks like Pacheco's going to be the one on the attack here, side by side with Bison on the way into turn 4. Bison defends, but the corner is so tight he almost washes out into the runoff area and all over the curb there to try and keep the momentum up. But the McLaren has better speed around the outside. Now the inside for Robert Bison. Again, it is the outside line that has the advantage, and Pacheco gets ahead just in time for these incredibly difficult S's.
As you see there, the McLaren just taking a little bit of a slight detour there. Jack Minter very much hot in pursuit. He can see the 91 ahead. He can see the McLaren ahead. The Mustang's gone wide. Is this going to be an opportunity for the Porsche? No, not yet, but still applying the pressure right up behind the rear wing of that Mustang. The McLaren just ahead. Can he find his way back towards the podium? Bison Jr. holding him back in class.
Yeah, this is really interesting, this fight here. It seems that, well, you know, again, I've driven quite a few laps around this circuit, and consistency, I can tell you, is really hard to pull off here. The corners come thick and fast right out of nowhere, punctuated by these long straights where you have to get the exit just right. Straight line speed, and so it's really difficult to maintain that sort of momentum over the course of a race, and it seems everyone's having those kinds of issues, which is bringing us some fantastic action. Jason Hatcher, next driver to find Miguel Colon in his rearview mirror, and alongside him, as that was a mammoth run through the chicane for Miguel. He immediately slips up into 19th place as a result.
Yeah, that was definitely some pink panther moves right there by the driver up the number 87 car. Fair play to him. As right now, it looks like Matt Jones is getting into a battle here with Dalton Oxborough.
Yeah, here we go. This is Oxborough still trying his best to hold on to something here. Down in 17th now, and I'm not entirely sure whether or not he's pitted, but oh goodness me,
he has.
He has, okay, so he is fighting hard now to try and get some clear air ahead and behind so he can focus on lap times here. Matt Jones is doing his damnedest to get by him here, but he has yet to pit. Oxborough, one of the only drivers in the top 10, let alone the top 15, have actually come into the pits for some scheduled maintenance on the car, that being enough fuel to get to the end and not much else. So, yeah, coming back out in traffic, I
lost you. Come back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like Reece Gardner has indeed lost his mic for a second, so you're just going to have to suffer me a little bit longer there. I saw a flash. There you go. You're back. Reece Gardner, welcome back. Oh my gosh, that's almost a little bit of a pile up there. Looked like lap traffic trying to get out of the way, catching these guys by a little bit of surprise. Thankfully, Reed Lincoln and indeed the battle going on with Chris Passetti able to continue as right now. This is the battle for P5 in silver.
It is indeed. Yeah, I don't know why you're losing me, because I'm still lighting up in Discord. That is something that we'll need to think about for future broadcasts. Chris Passetti, he's holding on to that 11th place, and he's having a great run of things, I have to say. He started in 25th place, don't forget. Chris Passetti is one of the drivers that's avoided the chaos there, and he is still going to avoid a tap here from Lincoln just behind him. Reed Lincoln looking for a bit of a recovery himself. This is a fantastic battle with Rosario involved in the Mustang as well. It looks like there might be a run to the pit lane from Reed Lincoln coming into this pit lane where the speed limit is 80 k's an hour, it being an F1 circuit. So you get through it in a bit less time than you'd expect. But it'll be interesting to see where that puts him relative to these guys. I'm still not entirely certain how the pits, how the pit cycle works regarding undercuts, overcuts, etc. at this particular circuit. It's a bit of an outlier.
Yeah, that's fair. Certainly, if you look at tracks like Spa-de-Francorchamps, you know it's going to be a really long pit, and you need to make the most of your pit stop. But while we got Kevin Rosario here on the screen, I got to say he's had some really good dodges today. Certainly, he's been around some incidents, but been able to remain pretty much unscathed. And right now, I'd say that's working out quite well for him. He's up 12 positions on the day, 4 in class, 12 overall, and currently chasing down the driver ahead, the 23 of Chris Brissetti.
Indeed, Brissetti has had a lovely run of things, as I mentioned a few moments ago, but he's struggling with understeer in those S's. There's something that you really need for this circuit is a neutral car that really plays nicely through these S-bends. It is a fixed setup series, though, so there's not much you can do about that if your car is suffering from understeer. Just wind the brake bias back and hope for the best. Kevin Rosario certainly did that because he went up the inside there at the braking zone and got the move done nicely, though.
I gotta admit, I think that was a little bit of survival technique there from Chris Brissetti. I think he saw that Mustang coming in hot and just went, nope, absolutely not. As right now, Brian Zinn is going at it with the Australian driver of Jacob Freeman.
Jacob Freeman recovering to 8th place. And regarding Australian drivers, it would seem that David Freeston has not had the best of times here.
I've lost you again, Reese.
Oh my God.
Back.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why I'm losing my voice here, but David Freeston, I was making a point of, has found himself all the way down in 41st place. Jacob Freeman, meanwhile, trying his best to hold on to that position in the top 8.
Yeah, he's definitely applying a bit of pressure there as Brian's in now. That looks like Kerry Corcoran's car. They're not even on the same lap. I think Kerry Corcoran is maybe a lap down from, yeah, he is indeed a lap down from, so certainly just trying to clear that traffic there, as indeed Tommy Polte is emerging from pit lane. Now, this could be interesting to see where he emerges. He's fighting for it in bronze. It looks like CJ Conklin has indeed done his pit stop, and it looks like he's managed to leapfrog him quite massively there. Conklin all the way back there, about a 6-second gap to the number 26 of Tommy Polte.
Indeed. So let's see what CJ Conklin can do here to hold on to this one. As, oh dear, it looks like Freeman, I've noticed, has fallen down the order a little bit. That means he's coming to the pits. So that's another one of our drivers in the top 10 that has decided to go for the pit lane here with 8 minutes to go. There's going to be a raft of pit stops going forward here. Conklin, meanwhile, still trying his best to hold on here as the BMW worked his way around him. He is fighting with Quinn Manders and Jamil Gummer, who are fighting behind him.
Yeah, certainly Tommy Polte has managed to get the edge on that battle for now, but Jack Minter has indeed able to recover, but for how long, he is yet to make a pit stop, as there goes Joshua Wilford absolutely blitzing by, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed the pits are a busy place right now. We've got Chris Brissetti, we've got Kevin Rosario, and indeed Matt Hollinger currently down pit lane.
All right, so we have a raft of pit stops that will be coming up here. Ooh, hello. Yes, Artis Veldra and Joshua Wilford have come back together. Wilford has been chasing doggedly Artis Veldra, and now he's going for the pit lane. No, this is good. I think this is going to result in a battle on pit exit once Veldra comes into the lane.
Well, we're going to see exactly where Veldra decides to come into the pits. Now, from usual history, watching the number 17 car, he is usually one of the last people to pit. At times, we even wonder if he is indeed going to pit, as Pierce Fox is going down pit lane as well. He was currently leading silver with Ben Mellick right behind him. That's the 2 first place and second place silver cars. Where's Charles Ayers? He currently was P3 overall. Are we going to see him moving up further through the field now as he makes his way down the start finish straight?
All right, well, Charles Ayers has a lot to play for here, and he will still find himself in P5 in the end. Fantastic stuff. He's having a great run of things, and Pierce Fox, it looks like, is a bit far behind, so we'll see what more can be done about that. Fox has already come into the pit lane as well. He's actually only just come out. Battle ahead. Sorrentino there, it looks like. And there's been a good recovery. Yeah, it is a lapped car, but I want to highlight, it has been a great job from Doug Sorrentino here. Don't forget, he started in 19th place. He's up to 4th. Still has yet to come into the pits, of course, but it's been a very profitable night for Doug.
Yeah, I always find Doug is indeed a very entertaining driver. I enjoy watching him here, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, he's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and that's definitely something that I am very much on board with here. As RS Veldra makes his way down pit lane. Now, how's this going to work out? Because currently Hunter McCall is yet to make a pit as well. I'm going to see him on his way in, but Joshua Wilford is going to be the car to watch. Where is he going to emerge in comparison to RS Veldra? As Veldra, not even yet to his pit stall. Jack Minter's gone in the pits there, I see in the background. How is this going to play out for the main lead battle?
Well, this is going to be a very interesting fight indeed. Hunter McCall is going to continue on as, it looked like there's a spinner in the final corner. Quinn Manders, he manages to get going in time for Wilford to make his way through, but have a look at that. Undercut working nicely, and Wilford moves past Artis Veldra and takes the lead of the race back through the pit cycle. Good recovery from Wilford. Hopefully he can avoid the same kind of mistake that put him back there in the first place.
Yeah, certainly got a little bit too much heat into them tyres, but right now Hunter McCall is indeed going to get to lead a lap, ladies and gentlemen, but for how long? There is indeed lap traffic ahead. He's yet to make a pit stop in the 151 Ferrari, but maybe he is indeed a magician, ladies and gentlemen, been able to save some fuel, but there's 5 minutes left to go. Time is indeed running out.
Yes, it can be possible, I think, to complete the race without a pit stop as McCall got over the curb there. That's not ideal. Yeah, this traffic is not working out nicely for Hunter. He's probably thinking, I should have pitted last lap. He is going to lose a bit of time relative to those chasing him. I think he might have some trouble from Charles Ayres, but we'll see. Pit lane is only a couple of corners away. Ayres is making his way through the S's there, so I think it's going to be a pretty easy position change for him, but it all depends. Hunter McCall going to go for the pit lane, and it looks like we're also going to up ahead of him coming into the lane too. That's Robert Bison, the lapped car.
All right, now you can see Joshua Wilford there is indeed going to regain that lead. Hunter McCall's got to do a little bit more work in the pits. That's CJ Conklin ahead. Actually, CJ, he's got a car right up his chuff. I'm not sure who it is, ladies and gentlemen, but I think that's Quinn Manders looking at just the paint job. No, it's not. That's a gold car,
no.
ladies and gentlemen. It's an Aston Martin.
That is that. I think that's
it's
David
Cairo.
Freeston, is it? No, it's Cairo Ends. Yes, indeed.
Maybe not.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay. So Cairo, unfortunately, having his fair share of problems there, falling down to 21st place. So who is that behind CJ Conklin? Is it David Freeston? It is. It is David Freeston. And Joshua Wilford has just come up to lap them with Artis Veldra. The leaders are right with them here.
Well, this indeed is going to get interesting. Don't get me wrong, CJ Conklin, very, very considerate when it comes to letting the faster guys go by. But don't get me wrong, he's in a battle of his own as well, ladies and gentlemen. He's got Tommy Poulter has managed to absolutely slingshot his way to the top of the bronze standings. But right now, he's going to be keen to try and keep Dustin Warren behind him as well. He's got a 15-second gap, but Poulter just 4 seconds up the road. If this works out well with traffic, this could indeed be an opportunity for Conklin to take the top spot in bronze.
Certainly could be. Well, David Freeston lets Joshua Wilford and Artis Veldra by as they battle into the Foro Sol. Defensive for Joshua Wilford, and they still have more traffic to work their way through here. This has turned into a scintillating battle for the lead with a mere 2 minutes to go on the race timer. Late on the brakes for the BMW. Now it's time for the straight.
Well, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be a grudge match to the very end, ladies and gentlemen. I'm predicting we are indeed going to see another 2 laps of this battle, and certainly I'm all for it as Doug Sorrentino finally comes down pit road, ladies and gentlemen, in the Barbie car Porsche, ladies and gentlemen. Charles Ayres regains 3rd position. Pierce Fox is right behind him. He's about 2 seconds back, but the battle is indeed on between the 82 and the 17. It's Wilford versus Veldra.
all over the curbs at turn 1 and jumping over the anti-cut curbs at turn 2 and 3. Use all of the curb on the exit here, and it's a good exit from Artis Veldra, but an ideal exit as well from Joshua Wilford. I'm not sure how much longer they can keep this up here. They have a bit of clear air ahead of them, but lap traffic is going to be a factor again. Wilford slightly deep into turn 4, and that brings Veldra back into the picture.
Yeah, Veldra is definitely applying the pressure there, and you can see Charles Ayers, he's starting to creep up as well, but indeed lap traffic looks like they may want to get involved in this battle. CJ and co are actually, I don't think, falling that far behind. They don't get me wrong, they want to stay away from it, but at this point they could end up being really good camera cars there. As indeed Aston Martin versus BMW, the grudge match continues, ladies and gentlemen, as they make their way through the chicane.
Joshua Wilford took wins in the latter half of last season. Artis Veldra was last season's champion. These are two of the best drivers in the field, fighting as hard as you like. Barely enough room for Veldra to squeeze alongside Wilford, who defends into the Forosol. Slight contact between them, but more lap traffic. Tommy Poulter right ahead of them there, and this is in the twistiest part of the circuit. Well, looks like he'll go wide to let them both through, only just, and now the white flag is out. Barney has it waving, and this is going to come right down to the wire.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a last lap shootout, ladies and gentlemen, as right now Veldra is hot on his heels. Indeed, he's up 2 positions on the day. Wolford's led the majority of this race, had a little bit of an incident early on, but I don't think that's going to stop him. He's absolutely got that defensive game on point as Veldra tries to go down the outside. A little bit of kiss, kiss, nudge, nudge as they make their way through the right-hander and through the left.
All right, Wilford nailing the second part of that complex there. He's gotten a crucial bit of breathing room over Artis Veldra, now half a second. Can Veldra get onto the back of him again is the question. They have Jamil Gummer right in front of them. So lap traffic, I think, is going to be a factor here once again. Wilford is driving as defensively as he can, considering the circumstances. But how much more does Artis Veldra have here? He made up a lot of time in this section on the last lap. What about now?
I got a feeling traffic is indeed going to be a huge part, as that was definitely flirting with the off-track limits, ladies and gentlemen. You can see here lap traffic absolutely trying to get out of the way. This could be it, and that's it. Lap traffic's coming. That's contact. A little bit of a nudge. They've gone off as Joshua Wilford's also picked up a yellow flag, ladies and gentlemen. Does he have to serve a slowdown? Is Veldra going to be able to capitalize on this opportunity? This could be the race-changing mistake of the evening.
Yeah, Wilford is running slow. He is trying to clear a slowdown, but he parks it on the apex to keep Artis Veldra behind. He's doing it more. He's doing it again. He's managed to clear it just in time, side by side through the final corner, but Wilford slows down again. Artis Veldra goes through and the final corner, and he wins the race. Joshua Wilford is out of fuel.
Oh. Can Charles Ayers sneak by? Yeah. Yes. Oh, has he? I think the line. I think you might have got away with it. It was that was a lot.
The first line they came to was the finish line. Unfortunately for Charles Ayers, he could not get second place. But my lord, what a final lap from Artis Veldra and Joshua Wilford. Got a bit leery from time to time, but man, a fantastic bit of entertainment. Brian's in, trying to work his way into P11 there, but it doesn't look like it'll happen. Actually, it might. Chris Crone having to come into the pits there on the final lap. Oh, dearie me. That's going to be a free position for everyone ahead of him there. Miguel Colon rounding out your top 10.
I got a feeling a few people may have run out a little bit of fuel there, Reese. I think that extra lap was just enough to do them in.
Yes, they probably weren't. It probably took them by surprise seeing that extra lap, unfortunately, come up on them. So that has really changed the face of the race for quite a few drivers. My goodness. See, this is the moment where it happened. So it wasn't a slowdown necessarily for Wilford. It was just fuel. Veldra drove away from him through the final corner.
Yeah, I gotta say, he is definitely going to want to buy a lottery ticket. Certainly on his birthday, it did not work out in his favor, but what an absolutely fantastic result. As I can say, welcome Dylan Newhard to the chat, indeed Ariel Koala as well, and Jake N summarizing it very well. Another dramatic finish indeed.
This series certainly provides great entertainment, and that's why we love bringing it to you here on Pit Road Productions. Artis Veldra begins his celebrations on the start-finish straight as we can go through our results. I believe all drivers have indeed crossed the line.
Almost.
Fantastic. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right, well, Veldra back on top here. 3.7 seconds in the end ahead of Joshua Wilford. Charles Ayres gets on the overall podium and wins silver. Pierce Fox to P4. Fantastic drive from him up 5 positions. Hunter McCall finishes where he started. Ben Mielik gains 6 positions to finish P6. Doug Sorrentino from 19th to 7th. I've seen plenty of performances like that from Doug in the past. Par for the course. Haygood finishes in 8th place, and then we have Freeman and Cologne rounding out your top 10.
As we have a look at P11, it's going to be Brian Sin with Dalton Oxborough right behind. Reed Lincoln, he took third. He took 13th, ladies and gentlemen, with Chris Mercedes in 14th. He had a good couple of battles today. Kevin Rosario as well, dodging extraordinaire. He's there in 15th with Brent Souza in 16th. Chris Crone, definitely getting caught up in another incident. I do have to wonder if the stewards will be giving him a little bit of a slap. He's going to be there in 17th with 18th of Jason Hatcher. Cairo Ends almost had a good race by him. He's there in 19th with Tyler Gramling, closing out your top 20.
Good job from all of them. Michael Pacheco is the last driver to finish on the lead lap there, with Tommy Polte winning the bronze class ahead of CJ Conklin and Dustin Warren in 25th, split Jones. Darwin Hansen ahead of Quinn Manders there. Jack Minter, he was leading bronze for quite some time, but ultimately things did not go his way. He'll be looking for a recovery next round. Jamil Gummer and Kerry round out your top 30, and then we get through to yet more of these drivers that probably had a worse time than they wanted. Crane, Garov, Bison, they have all had some issues in this particular race. Simon Carter with Callan Christian ahead of him, Matt Hollinger, Scott Laurenti, David Freeston, the big surprise of this one, lost connection early on in the race and unfortunately has to settle for 38th position with Joshua Travis, Richard Pettit, Sean Phillips, Amrit Vestrala also getting across the line there, but evidently retirements from Jason Owens, John Hamrick, and Drew Martin. And that rounds out our field, and it is time for our interviews. It would appear we have Artis Veldra waiting in the wings for a chat. Let's bring him in now. Artis, welcome back to the Pit Road Productions comms box. It's been a minute since we've had the chance to have a chat to you, but what a battle in those final laps between you and Joshua.
Yeah, long time no talk. That was so unexpected, like absolutely unexpected. Last season I was really putting a lot of work in. This season, I did a few laps around here. I knew the track, quite well, but I did not expect this to play out like that. First of all, the quali, Astons were dominating the practice, so the quali was surprisingly well with the BMWs in front. And then when I finally cleared Charles, then it was kind of I thought I was just gonna cruise, in P2 until the end. But I don't know if Josh had a contact or what happened, but because of the spin, I knew, if he's gonna catch up to me, I'm not really gonna fight, because he was by far the fastest one. But yeah, I guess he underfueled. So very surprising. I was not expecting this to happen.
Yeah, we weren't either. We were just as surprised as you were. And apparently there was more than one driver who didn't anticipate the race going that extra lap. Well, 3 rounds in, you've taken your first win of the season. That's going to be a good haul of championship points. Do you think you're going to be in contention for the title again? Because you did have quite a big margin last season when you were in your Lamborghini. This BMW, it seems not quite as dominant, but there's still plenty of chances for you to get those good points.
I honestly don't think I'm going to be in championship contention. If I could shoot for say top 3 or top 5, I'd be really happy. I know I'm gonna miss the race next week, and then hopefully I can attend the rest of them. But that basically, I have my 2 drop rounds, so however well I do in the rest of the races is kind of where it's gonna be. So yeah, very surprised at this race. I probably could have given Josh a little bit of push and then pass him just before the finish line, but I was just caught by surprise. Like, why is he, slowing down so much?
I ran out of gas, buddy.
Yeah. I figured so.
Awkward timing.
Yeah, I had 1.4 extra.
Yes, indeed. Well, I suppose that's a really good transition point to come across to Joshua Wilford. Zippy, I understand you've had a chance to catch up to him.
Well, Josh, I've got to say, an absolutely cracking drive. For the most part, you are indeed actually human. Ladies and gentlemen, we were starting to wonder for a little while. The man, the machine, the driver of the number 82. Tell us a little bit about what happened and how it felt watching that BMW of Artis Veldre just go absolutely sailing by on the start-finish straight.
Oh, guys, it was a really great race. I mean, the traffic was really cooperative. The track conditions were gnarly. That made it even more fun. And the first couple laps were pretty easy, just banging in the consistent fast laps, avoiding the off tracks and the corner cuts. And I built quite a big gap. And then, unfortunately, I had a collision with a good friend of mine, Darwin. But it was gut wrenching to see the BMW with those gold rims come past, and I knew I had my work cut out for me. But I went for the undercut. It worked, and unfortunately, my fuel guy made a 0.1 error, and I ran out of fuel on the last corner. Yeah, but you know what? What can we do? Artis, great drive, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was a good fight. Like, even those laps when you recovered, I knew you're gonna, come up to me. So I kind of was, a couple of places maybe it was a bit sketchy on passing the lap cars, but I hoped I could keep a gap between you. But then with the undercut, I saw how many cars I had in front of me. It was like, there's no way I can keep my lap times up, So it was no surprise, and I wasn't gonna fight when you were coming out either. But yeah, the fuel, dude, let you down this time.
He's fired, ladies and gentlemen. Joshua Wilford is now looking for a better crew chief. So if you'd like to take that responsibility, by all means, message him. We'll reach us on here. Leave a comment in the YouTube. We will happily point you in this direction. But certainly, there's been some good rivalry so far. We saw these guys at the end of last season definitely having some good battles and some good rivalry. But Artis, you managed to take the top step away from Wilford for this week. What do you reckon it's going to be like next round there, Artis?
Well, like I said, next round Sonoma. I'm unfortunately going to miss for my kiddos' baseball game, but I'll be back for the following rounds. I'm really looking forward to Road Atlanta. That's like my almost like home track, just a few minutes away from my place. So I'm definitely I'll try to put a fight with the guys there. But for the other rounds, I'll go as it. I'll take what happens, whatever that may be.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed the first and second positions for Gold Class, and indeed overall, it's Artis Veldre, the number 17, and Joshua Wilford of the number 82. As Reese, let's have a chat with the silver drivers of Charles Ayers and Pierce Fox.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, indeed. Bringing them both in here. Thanks very much to Artis and Joshua for jumping in with us. But we'll go to Charles first. Man, what a fantastic drive it was for you, ending up third in the end, but there were a couple of bumps in the road on the way. Things got a bit hectic once the race got into its rhythm.
Well, that was a very, I don't want to say hectic. It was very, I was driving hard because I wanted to keep, no offense to you, Fox, I mean, you're a racer, I'm sure you'll understand. I wanted to keep as many cars between myself and Fox as I could. So I figured plus the way that the points go in this series, it's not like if I finish 10 cars ahead of Fox, I get first place points in silver. He gets second place points in silver. No, that's not how it works. If I finish third, I get third place points. If he finishes 8th, he gets 8th place points. The more cars between the next car in line to you in your class, the better. So, I'm sure there's a lot of gold drivers who, they might be upset with me. They might be a little bit frustrated with me. I don't really think many are. I think if anything, it's just Oxborough, but I'll reach out to him and give him a shout. But it was just, I guess drivers just racing really hard, racing really aggressive. I don't feel like I did anything, not necessarily dirty. I would say it was definitely borderline very rude, I guess is a good way of putting it. You see the weaving and everything down the straightaways and all sorts of types of racing. You see it in F1 and GT cars. And, a couple times I felt like I got driven through. So when I saw a gap opening, I decided to put my nose in there. And we made contact a couple times. We didn't really wreck each other. We just, went wheel to wheel or bumper to bumper. But it definitely could have been a lot cleaner. But at the end of the day, I'll take what I can get. I don't think there's really much else that I could have done different besides pull over and completely let everyone through. And I don't know if you guys saw or not, but I literally wound up letting Oxborough through. And what wound up happening was he wound up holding me up. Literally the second lap after I let him go, he started holding me up. I was just on his bumper the whole time. So, it's a give and take thing with racing. At the end of the day, I'm here to race. I'm not here to just, let people by. And, I hope he feels the same way. And I hope we can just chalk it up to as a racing deal.
Well, the good news is, Charles, we are not the stewards here, so don't worry about that. Certainly, I am getting the vibes of a guilty conscience, but we'll wish you congratulations on P3 overall and P1 in silver. Pierce Fox, obviously you could see the guy ahead of you. Not quite able to get him near the end, but regardless, still a nice, tidy 4th place overall. How did you feel about trying to chase down the number 7 car driven by Charles?
Oh, I was having a good time on that last lap there. I seen the lap traffic coming up, and I was like, yes, slow them down. And then they got me, and I was like, no. But overall, I feel like it was a pretty good race. I mean, I was more consistent than I thought it was going to be. I was having a lot of trouble in practice this week, but other than that, I got lucky with all the wrecks around me. It's a good race overall, I think.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed Pierce Fox. Ladies and gentlemen, able to get P4, had a challenging race and certainly able to score P4 points, ladies and gentlemen. But I hate to hurt back, we got to do this, but we do have to move along and steal the bronze drivers now, ladies and gentlemen, of CJ Conklin, and indeed the bronze winner of Tommy Poulter.
Yeah, fantastic drive. Tommy, we'll go to you first. You were right in the thick of it all the way through, and Minter was getting away from you guys, but evidently this track takes no prisoners.
No, apparently not. Yeah, he was much faster. I think CJ and I were just trying to stay clean, and I think we both had a 0x there, so job well done on that part, especially at this track. So just trying to stay consistent as usual.
You're a Porsche driver, so you're well familiar with the behavior of the 911 GT3. How does it go through that middle section of the circuit through the S's? I would imagine that the rear engine layout makes it a tiny bit more difficult than it would be in a more conventional layout car.
Yeah, you got to be, as the track got hotter too, you got to be real careful on the brakes going into that, because I almost spun out a couple times. If you hit the brakes a little bit too much, I don't know, I really just tapping the brakes and trying not to downshift, because the more I downshifted later on in the race, it really started to get loose. So I just, as the race went on, I kept it in 3rd gear through there, a little bit slower, but I figured it'd be better than spinning out.
Yeah, certainly. Those are the compromises you have to make. But Sonoma for the next round of the championship. We'll see how you do there. Thanks very much for the chat. Meanwhile, CJ Conklin, race administrator. Thank you very much, Tommy. CJ, we go to Sonoma next week, so things will be looking very interesting there. We've already been to one tight track this season in Laguna Seca. I think Sonoma is Laguna Seca squared when it comes to compact nature.
Well, that race was pretty good. I am interested in the Sonoma coming up, because it's got some fast sweeping turns, and it's going to be very interesting. And I'm not really versed on that track myself, so I got a lot of practice to do this week.
Yeah, certainly. But I think it just goes to show that no matter what track we go to, there is going to be drama. There's an awful lot of drivers in this field at the moment, spread across these 3 different classes. So I think it's just great to see the amount of action that we got today.
Oh, I can't wait to watch the replay. I had a pretty clean race. I just sat back and was consistent, hitting all the marks. My times were really good, and like Tommy said, we got 0x, so pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that.
As you should be, CJ. Thanks very much for joining us, and
you.
also thank you for being basically the man behind this league. It's been fantastic to bring this action here. But Zippy, it looks like that's going to be all we have time for regarding interviews for the time being. But yeah, we'll say our goodbyes to CJ, to Tommy, to Artis, to Charles, Joshua, Pierce, all of these great guys joining us here in the comms box. We go to Sonoma next week. Going to be a fun one once more.
Absolutely, Reese. And certainly Sonoma, when I think of that, I actually think of watching Swelio go at it. And back in the Radicals, ladies and gentlemen, in the real world, certainly he had a challenging battle there. And it really changed my outlook on that track as well. It does deliver. It does have challenges, no doubt. It's got a lot of elevation change, a lot of blind corners. I think we're going to see a couple of incidents there, Reese, as if we never seen them before. Don't get me wrong, Sonoma as well, not one of the more commonly chosen tracks as well. I don't think it's going to be a favorite for a few of these drivers, but we're going to have to see how it works out in those desert conditions. But Reese, I think it's about time you did the honor, sir, and close up what really was a fantastic evening of racing here with the Podium 1 GT3 Fixed Series.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic stuff from everybody in this field. Some scintillating action and great drama from this third round of the championship. A big thanks to all of our sponsors, all of our supporters here at this series, and to all of you in the broadcast chat for riding along with us for fantastic third round of the Podium 1 GT3 Fixed Series. Make sure to subscribe to Pit Road Productions so you don't miss a single broadcast as well. We've got plenty more coming through the rest of this week. I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box and also producing behind the scenes. We'll see you next time.